Hello. Right. Okay, I guess I can turn this off. Hola, newbie. Alright, just set this aside. Hopefully you can see me well. Alright. Yeah, seems to be working. Just gonna test that audio real quick. There you go. Alright, okay. So, as I was showing you guys last time, I'm working on this guy right here, this chameleon, chameleon, I think is the name. I thought all chameleons, or as far as I could recall, they were all from. I just suggest that Madagascar, but apparently not. They're from all like a bunch of different places. So yeah, that way at least you can see the deck, my deck of cards there. Also, if you haven't, consider subscribing. Helps me a bunch. It's completely free for you, and yeah, hopefully one day I'll get monetized in some of these platforms. Just clear that out. Hello, hola, ¿qué tal? ¿Cómo va? Yo hablo español, pero hago mi contenido en inglés. O sea, si quieres preguntar en español, puedes preguntar en español. O si quieres hablar en español, no pasa nada. Pero sí, si me ves normalmente saltando otra vez al inglés. Okay, so as I was saying, I do speak Spanish, but I often find myself jumping back and forth. Uh, Nubi here is from Mexico, so yeah. Say hi, everybody. Um, yeah, some of you, like, I know some of you join from TikTok, some of you join from Kick. I know there's some people that watch on Twitch, even though I have so very little presence there. Uh, but yeah. Anyhow, uh, I don't know if I mentioned this recently, but if you type something, it doesn't only appear on the screen. Others, well, it appears on the screens, which means that you can chat with other people. But anyhow, from other platforms. Maybe I should not advertise that much that, but I'm not even monetized, so anyway. Let's see how. Oh, I forgot this important part. I can actually continue to work with this, but it's just a pain, and I'm getting a little bit better. I'm trying not to push it, but I'm taking it off every now and then. Um, just let my wrist rest a little. I like this ink, but it can be a little bit of an annoyance at times because like the other one I have, this one, well, it's probably already kind of running out, but if I show you, like, it goes from 0 to 3000, and this one, like, that's kind of 0. If I push a little bit further, push a little bit more, there you go. So you have to add way more pressure for ink to come out at the same rate as the other one. So it's this one's better to control, which was a nice thing to figure out. So it's Filgo fast grip, and this one's a pilot regrip, Rex grip rather. Saying nonsense. But it can be, I think it's something related to the paper that it can kind of get stuck or something. I don't know. Like every now and then it decides not to let any ink out. Yeah. I think I mentioned this last time, but I really like chameleons. I think they're really awesome. um, I had a logo that was a chameleon for a period of time. Eventually, I changed it, but I still enjoy using kind of like a vibrant green, as you might see on some of the stuff I do. Not always, but if you want to try to get something realistic out of a pen, you should get something more like this, in opposition to something like this. You have way more control about the amount of ink that you add to the paper. So this is actually, I think, let me check here. Yeah, this is stream number 87 now. So I've been doing this for some time now. I've been creating for social media for quite some time, but the streams, this is number 87 in this format. If you have any questions, feel free to add them. I'm thinking of, after I finish this sketch, which I'm gonna try to make it about animals as much as I can. Like, what I've had happen in the past is that I run out of subject matters, or they get really repetitive, or kind of, I don't know, not fun. So I end up mixing up the sketch. Actually, if you see the beginning, it's other stuff too. Like a dragon, my chihuire, which I always add a chihuire, a capybara to some of the stuff. Um, yeah, kind of random. But I have a few that I was able to hold a subject matter for quite some time. Uh, Eventually, you start to like, oh my god, how many pages does this sketch has? Uh, Maybe the a good idea would be like do like a set of 12, or I could do like a story. I was doing one that had I tried to weave kind of a story into the sketchbook. Um, I just, but because I only have limited time, I couldn't spend that much time developing the story. So I would have to like just come up with it on the spot. Sorry, I was trying to film that for the short videos I make. Um, Maybe I should also do something different for that. I don't know. You have to refresh it every now and then. Otherwise, um, I guess people just scroll past. Or there's also a lot of like we do it. Everybody does this. Like you're scrolling and you just just every now and then. Oh, this caught my attention. But it's a little bit random. So you really have to be putting out a lot of content, or get really famous doing one specific thing or a style, sort of, so people can relate to what you're doing. I feel like I'm talking to myself, which probably, maybe. I find it really funny that for instance TikTok, they like you get a bunch of random people following onto your stream. Uh, I guess every now and then I've scroll through live streams, but I've also like I've been scrolling like regular, and then I fall into a stream. I'm like, what is this? I want to get in here. So it's kind of funny. Uh, I I've mentioned this in the past. It's like watching interdimensional TV. If you haven't seen Rick and Morty, yeah, that's it's one of the episodes. It's about that. I believe, as far as I remember. I don't know if the subject of the episode had other things on it. Maybe it did. ASMR. Happy trees. Happy trees. Happy trees. Uh, that's kind of funny. It's like the subset of I don't know. This I didn't know that there were so many people that it's like a whole niche. of people creating ASMR content. Like, if that gets me monetized, like, well, welcome. There's always somebody interested in whatever you're doing, which is something I really appreciate about the internet. Uh, you can eventually find uh, kind of like a version of a tribe. This actually looks better now. I wasn't expecting. Probably the light change I did. I do prefer this lighting for this purpose, not for like for my regular use. I prefer a different type of light. Huh. Gracias. I don't know if this is the first time you watch one of my streams, but um I've mentioned in the past that a good way to figure out if the contrast of your image is going well versus the reference is squinting. So you want to squint every now and then because you basically you're tricked by your eyes all the time. Am I studying English? No. Hago contenido en inglés, pero hablo español también. So, uh, as I was saying, no, no pasa nada. I forgot what I was saying. What was I saying? Oh, that you if you squint your eyes, you can kind of see um, the contrast. Oh, and the fact is that you um, actually are being tricked by your eyes constantly. So you have to when you're drawing, usually it can happen that your eye gets adjusted to what you're looking at, and you have to find a way to break that. Otherwise, you're not gonna be able to see certain mistakes. If it's something really subtle, like when people do, sorry, when people do like a portrait, this is really common. You're trying to represent the features of the person, and there's a slight difference, but you cannot pinpoint exactly what is going on. So what usually happens is that your eye is getting adjusted to the version that you're putting on the page, and you have to figure out ways to like get like lose that or refresh that memory, sort of like if you like the same way you would like delete the cache on your computer, the same thing, kind of the same thing. So you can like some people like flip the drawing, and some people look at it through the light, sort of thing. Uh, like this sort of thing. I don't know if it's you can actually see it. Well, you kind of get the idea. There's also like you use like a filter. I don't have anything like that here, but I've seen people use like red acrylic, and they put it over the drawing to check the contrast, check different things. Um, yeah, your eyes can deceive you, which is not fun. The reason that happens is that your brain is always filtering out information for you to to function properly. So the version of reality that you are actually interacting with might not be fully accurate because you have way more inputs that you might acknowledge consciously. Hope that makes sense. Um, so to compensate for that, you have to employ certain tricks. Also, another thing is that I've noticed, and probably there's something to it. I haven't looked into it that much, but I noticed that I think our eyes, each and every one of us, have a different shape of the eye. So my theory is that when you're learning to draw, you might have this sort of deformation, like natural deformation on your eyesight, which might uh, lean you towards certain mistakes, kinda, in in your drawing. So you have to also compensate for that with actually measuring properly and all that sort of thing. The more experience you get, the better you get at compensating for your natural uh, inclinations in regards to how you deform shapes when you're drawing. Um, that's my theory. Maybe there's something to it. I haven't heard anybody talk about that. Um, but definitely we all make different mistakes. So that's what I think happens. Could be wrong, but that's my take. That's my 2 cents. And I know there's stuff that are off in terms of measuring. Uh, but there's like I don't know. I prefer trying to learn how to draw stuff, like measuring in a more empirical way, or like testing out things. Like if you cannot get a measurement right, you can always go back and use like a technical way as to how to do it. but I don't do that all the time. I just do it every now and then. Um, like I've mentioned in the past, like you take your pencil and you just kind of hold it against the image, and what you're trying to do is transfer that measurement to the page. So let's say you want to take as your measurement the head. So you have to measure the other things that you want to measure, like the eye, or let's say, let's see, the if I measure the body of the creature, so from the top of the bell, I think it's bell, what is the name of the thing, to the chin, if I measure that and I transfer that, you can see from here to here, that's around half of the body of the animal, and if I transfer it to here, you can see that's the end of the creature. So he's roughly two heads in terms of measurement in that way. And if I use that same reference for the the other parts of the body, like for example transferring this, you can see that that's one head, that's two, and a little bit more. But if I transfer that, let's see, two, it's a little under. And you can, like, I'm doing this for example's sake, but what you do is you hold it against your eye and you just try to transfer that into your page. So it's a way to, like, you're scaling the image to your actual drawing. I don't know if that made sense. I don't know if that helps you. Hopefully it does. Um, just a little trick there to measure that. It's a technical way to do it. I also mentioned in the past that you can, if you want to get a more accurate drawing, you can do something like this. Like you can divide your reference into a grid. So if this is the chameleon, like you have the reference of what goes in this quadrant, what goes on this one, and so on and so forth. So what you have to do is kind of get the same grid, hopefully exactly the same grid, um, proportionally, if you want to go like super technical on it, and you transfer that to, like, from your reference to your actual drawing. So like something like this. Hope that makes sense. Yeah, I don't like doing it that way. I just, as I said, I prefer just measuring in my mind as much as I can. I feel like I learn more that way, but I can also tell you that you can make mistakes that way. It's just a personal preference. Sometimes mistakes are part of the creation process, and how you approach it, it's also part of the creation process, and how you weave it into the actual end design. Sometimes you, like, okay, this is a bad result, and just don't get attached, move on, make another one. It's just a drawing. um, Everybody does that. uh, Same goes for, like, if you're writing a script, if you treat it as if it's something as far as I understand, because what I've done in regards to scripts are really basic, nothing too complicated. But usually the first draft, uh, what I've heard from really prominent writers is that they don't. That's just for them to drag out the idea from their brain into something, and then they start to like chisel away the actual script. They might have a bunch of iterations of the script, or maybe two or three. I don't know. I guess each one has a different process, but kind of in the same line. Uh, if you wanna try for yourself to do a drawing, you can do a thumbnail first, like something like this, small little thumbnail. This was when I was drawing um, a parrot. Like you can do the thumbnail of a creature. Test out. This is way easier to test out different compositions. So I don't know. I want the animal to have the wings spread out. So I'm gonna try that out. I want this ball like here and the other one here. So this is way more dynamic, and you can use this as your baseline to then, if you want to use a reference, you can look for a reference that kind of looks like this, or you can just go and make your own image. uh, it depends on what you want to achieve. Hope that makes sense and it helps someone. That's the whole idea behind this sort of thing. For those of you who might be interested in drawing, or some of the subject matters I tackle, I draw a lot of animals because I feel that if we feel entitled to consuming animals and nature, and we should also like take good care of it, and we're getting a bunch of creatures close to extinction, some of them already gone. So it's one of the saddest things I know about. uh, so hopefully that changes. uh, like I don't wanna get any problems about this, but for vegetarians, like it's not easy to scale that, first off, and second off, like people enjoy eating meat. So if we were able to find a way to produce protein, I think our baby woke up. uh, been having kind of a sleep regression. Must be really scary to like wake up and you're like, where am I? What is this? What year is it? So yeah, stuff being a baby. I don't think you guys can on hear her on the background, but she was crying a little bit. Anyhow, yeah, it's getting there. Also, another tip that I think I've mentioned, but like people show up every now and then, and there's new people that show up every now and then. So if you want to start to shade a drawing, a good point of reference is look at the spot with most contrast on the image that you want to transfer to your drawing, or you want to shade, and you start with that spot. Doesn't matter what it is. If you're using colors, like mixing colors, like what I have on this illustration that I'm about to show you. Hopefully it didn't delete it. I should be able to. Okay. So if you're mixing colors, like in this case, I started. They usually tell you when you're learning. I started this right on the eye because it's like literally black. But if I get close, this one's not a good enough scan. But if I get really close, you can see that it's not actually black. Maybe here you kind of get to that point, but this is a mixture of color. I achieved that by mixing together yellow, blue, red, and green. Was it? Yeah, I think so. So you basically, what you see white, that's actually the paper. The rest is mixing colors. So this is not any blue. This is I think it's like umber blue, something like that. I did it using Prismacolors for anyone interested in that sort of thing. Those are great. Um, they're professional level colors. So yeah, what was I saying? Oh, that you start with the most contrast area, and you can start with the least contrast color if you're using color. If you're doing something like this, you can go layer by layer. That way you don't saturate the paper quickly, which would mess up your drawing or whatever you're doing. Um, so as you can see, this image has a lot of yellow, so I would start with that first, and then start to add up other colors to it depending on what you can actually see on the image, and mixing them together to create something like this, if you are into that sort of thing. But anyway, going back to my image, I don't know how much texture I want to add to this. I could spend days if I get really into the nitty gritty of this. But because these are sketches, are meant to be sketches, not full illustrations. Let's go lightly on the detail side. Like the one that I show you, even though it's not the most successful version of the technique, that's supposed to be uh, the idea was to achieve hyperrealism. I don't think I was successful in some areas, like you see the background. Uh, that was me just like, okay, I'm tired. I'm going to finish this off faster. And looking back on it, I feel like maybe if I push a little bit further. But yeah, I also had like other assignments to deal with at the time, so might as well. These creatures are really awesome. Um, they're super. I don't know. They find them just perplexing in a way. Fancy random word. I also sometimes miss the mark, and the color, the page gets too saturated too quickly, and like that can be a hit and or miss sometimes. Just film another shot for my reel, my short video. What? Is that look or cool? Ah, gracias. Thank you. I don't know what those do, but thank you. Appreciate it. Gracias. Muchas gracias por los gifts. Muchas gracias. Muchas gracias, Flan. Thank you very much. Shout out to Flan. That's a funny name. Let's see what I got here. can probably do with that for now. Go back, turn the light on. I was actually using a lamp before. Now that I think of it, this is a better configuration. The light I had, because I didn't change the light bulb, it was like blinding me all the time. I was like, what am like? It was hard for me to see. It's that level of freaking contrast. So another thing for you, if you're interested in this sort of thing, you need to be relaxed to do this the best. You cannot be all stressed out. It's not gonna turn out the way you expect it to. I can tell you that much. Gracias. Let me close this off. There you go. Bum, 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 bum. Also, another tip I give you, hopefully you don't mess up. I think I mentioned this in the past, but I'm going to try to show you in a larger scale what I'm trying to do with a pen. Um, Basically, what I'm trying to do is this, but in a really small version of this. So if I go really light, I can actually blend that. So here, um, I went to I added too much pressure, but let's see if I can get it right, just right. Ah, there. See that was a little bit of a mistake, but for example, you can get some shading like that. Like that's the best way to achieve realism while painting. See that it kind of it gets to a point that it blends, like you cannot see the idea is that you lose track of the pencil over the paper. So I'm trying to do a really fast version of that for this, um, because as I said, I'm not trying to do full on technique, and I'm just trying to finish my sketch and make it look good, um, not too over the top. See, I almost missed this detail that you can see. They usually they have three fingers on one side and two on the other, and they're really interesting that they can turn their hand or paws. They can turn them 360 degrees. I don't know if they can do it infinitely, but they can definitely do it interchangeably, and it's super. They're super wacky. They are really interesting animals. Um, and I really like that They take care of flies. I don't like flies. They're so annoying. I understand they have a purpose in the ecosystem, but much rather not deal with them. Kind of annoying. One time I had a really bad experience with a fly. I was like drinking coffee and like it was coffee with milk, like as a lot of people usually do, drinking my coffee away, and by the end of it, I see a freaking fly at the bottom of the cup. I was like, oh my god, this is horrible. Why? Yeah, I don't like flies. I hate flies. So yeah, I'm rooting for chameleons. They don't do that well with crickets. Crickets are like they're feisty. They can do some damage. Uh, but flies, it's like perfect for them. Whatever they can get their hands on, or their tongues, really. But I think this could be a really awesome T-shirt. Yeah, I, I have an illustration. I don't know if I still have it somewhere downloaded, but I know it's on our our station. In our station, I was thinking if it was no, it's not our station. It's DeviantArt. See, I was confusing the two. It's on DeviantArt. On my DeviantArt, I did it a long time ago of chameleon, kind of like this one, but just like at the top of my head. It's not realistic. It's more stylized. I can see now it's a mistake, but I enjoy that drawing. This is kind of like, I guess, a throwback of that. Also, if you're not doing circles, as I showed you here on this example, you can follow the shape of the object that you're drawing, depending on what it is. You don't need to always do circles, even though it's a good practice. You can do other things if you want. I've seen all sorts of things about that. Like I saw an illustrator that I think he wrote words to create the images. I saw one that was like typewriting, so he would use the letters of the typewriter to create an image. I must have taken him hours and hours. Or her. I don't really know if it was a he or she or they them or was some time ago. There's a lot of different iterations of what I'm talking about, but it's the same base or basic stuff. You have to follow the basics. Everybody says that, and it's accurate. There's some people that are like super talented, Um, and I guess I went to school for for illustration, and I study before that, like more traditional art. But I guess actually it might hinder depending on the amount. Like if somebody's super talented, maybe they're better off uh, doing self-taught. Having said this, there's so many tricks that you can learn from teachers about art because we've been doing this for thousands of years, and some of this stuff is like ancient, uh, and it's been some is passed along from artist to artist, artist to artist. Um, some, of course, was left by masters, but there's certain specific things that you wouldn't get if somebody doesn't tell you. So there's some pros and cons to everything, right? I think I'm messing up here. I'm genuinely thinking that I am messing up the ball. Not doing it justice. Another thing that you always want to avoid is making things look flat. You always want to make them pop as much as you can. Kind of get that feeling that what you're looking at is three dimensional. I could spend a long time just focusing on the skin of this creature. Have to move it along. What did I do? I think I activate that anyway. Anyway, is it to here? It's up to here. Okay. Okay, Policia. I'm pretty sure my dog is like, could you please shut up? I'm trying to sleep here. He's right next to me, just chilling while I talk to you guys. Oh, you're back. As I said, no, I don't, my friend. I wonder why you asked that. I'm guessing to troll. reset. I don't know. Did my troll just left? Must be on the right path. That I'm getting. I'm getting some trolls. Must be doing something right. So, as I mentioned multiple times, if you haven't, consider subscribing. It helps me a bunch. It's completely free for you, and it helps me continue to pursue my dream of eventually getting monetized on a bunch of these platforms. Maybe get better gear. That'll be awesome. And put out more content that you might find useful. So, anyhow, I also have a Discord that is on the description of this if you want to check it out. So it's there. I haven't added much to it, but before I was asked a lot about that, so now I haven't. It's weird. Like the moment I decide to actually go through with it and create a Discord, like nobody asks for Discord. Anyhow, it's there, and if it grows, I'll see what we can do there. You can definitely ask questions uh, on there, and if I can, I'll get back to you, or you can reach out to my email that you might find on my YouTube channel, or I think on my website it's the same email. Anyhow, yeah, you have that. I also have a Redbubble shop with a bunch of my designs. I haven't added this last few batches of designs, but I'm going to. Just don't have much time to dabble in the scanner realm right now, so I'm kind of limited time wise. Uh, but I'm doing what I can. So what I'm thinking is that I might actually do like I don't know, a few all nighters or at least double shifts to be able to add that, because I also like to add more stuff there that I actually like. Um I really enjoy, so I'm looking forward to it. It's really rough for me right now to carve out time to do this sort of thing. So I just have to figure that out. When you're young, like, which I don't think I am anymore, not that much. Your parents tell you that you should uh, use every second you have, and if you have spare time to do certain things, to focus on certain things, uh, I wish I would have listened a little bit more. Even though I did, I'll focus like in learning how to draw and all that. I spent, you have no idea how many hours. I was obsessed, completely obsessed with it. I would take pencil and paper everywhere. So yeah, it takes dedication uh, and passion, but I also know that there were times at which I was like, okay, I guess I'll chill for a bit. We also need that. So you have to figure out a way to balance the two together. But having said that, when you're connecting to something, uh, just do it like mindfully. Don't do it. Don't do a half effort. Just do it to the maximum you can at that moment. That's how you actually move the needle in regards to a skill. I don't know what's gonna happen with said skill with all the AI nonsense going on. A copyright nightmare that thing is. Um, but I'm pretty sure 200 years from now, people are gonna still be drawing and painting because it's something we do naturally. It's part of our core. It's a way we express ourselves. So I think maybe some aspects are gonna get uh, taken by automation, but I don't know. We'll see. It's still in the air, I think. For some, at least. I know where a lot of the big companies lie, or like they're where the balance is going to, but you just have to see how it all unfolds over time. But people drawing, that's we do that all the time. Like that's an awesome way to go through your day. Representing beauty, a way to capture beauty, a way to show others that beauty. So I heard recently before I got on the stream, I think it was his name is William Herzog. I think he's a director. And well, I saw a small clip from an interview they were doing on him, or giving. I don't know. They were chatting with him, and he was saying that there's no poets that uh, nobody becomes a poet on a college, going to college. So he's basically saying, he was saying that people should get like weird jobs and try things, and it's an interesting perspective. I have my fair share of weird experiences on my life. Uh, but I see what he's saying about that. Like it's your life experiences fuel the work. whatever that may be. Yeah, I like the way this guy's turning. I like it. There's some favoritism going on. Like, there's certain subject matters that I could draw every day, and I mean, like, oh, this is awesome. But I feel that people could get also tired, maybe. Even though thinking about it, like, there's some artists that just do like one character, and that's what they do. That one character in different versions of that, different representations of that same. You want to inspire kind of that wonder, that sense of wonder. That's part of it. Like, you don't want to stay with reality 100%. You want to add your own flavor to it, whatever that may be. Here, I think I'm a little bit throwing the ball, but has so many details. I'm actually running out of time, but let's see if I can actually finish this to a point which I'm happy with it. And I missed a detail. Wait, yeah, I added the detail in the wrong spot. Darn it! Anyway, this one's a little bit harder to get the contrast because it's really the light is not there's not much contrast really, and the greens are really close to each other. So you just kind of exaggerating what is actually showing up there. I don't want to lose the subtlety of this. So I guess at this point I'm rushing it a little bit. But again, you have to remember that you're doing a sketch and not a full illustration. At least that's what I'm telling myself. Like, dude, chill. It's a sketch. Just a sketch. Just a sketch. Yeah, I like that. Cool. Alright, let's see if I can work this out properly. Finding that balance that I'm talking about the subtlety versus contrast. Like really dramatic contrast. You have to figure out a way to balance things out, whatever that means for you. Also, even if you're not trying to become some form of Picasso or anything, like you just if you're just interested in art as a hobby, um, it really has therapeutic effects on you. It really does. So even if you're doing like random scribbles or just there's a lot of people that are into like coloring books. That those are things that relaxes some folk. Um, I don't like coloring, like coloring books. I'm not into that much. But there's entire channels dedicated to people doing pages of that. So it just depends on what you want to do. If it's something that you might be interested in trying, I would give it a go. I I used to study uh, painting with a bunch of like doctors. There were a lot of doctors. Some retired. I don't know if every one of them was retired. I think a lot of them were, but yeah, doctors are really into the arts, and some of them are really good because they learn anatomy when they're in medical school. Uh, so it's like a really nice activity for everyone, all the ages. Everyone can draw. I'm convinced of that. I'm fully convinced of that. I totally missed the mark on the measurements, but uh, or they're a little bit off. At the very least, they're a little bit off. Also, I'm not trying to make a exact replica of the reference. I'm just trying to use the like the way I try to approach references is trying to get like details, certain details that are really specific. The best way you can approach that is with a reference. I do prefer to to create my own designs, which I also done a bunch of. Uh, but because I'm talking to you and like doing this live stream, for me it's a little bit less. Like I have to put a little bit less mental energy into this while also maintaining all the stuff that is going on around me. So that's why I decided to just choose a reference, and at least that way I already have a plan set, and I can just focus on the actual drawing and thinking about the design. And I don't know if that makes sense, but I still every now and then feel that I should go back to what I, I do a lot of. Just feel the need to do like a little bit more serious stuff right now. So doing more like technique stuff. It's to me it's a little bit more serious. Um, might go back to some silliness soon. We'll see. It's fun to do. Some of those silly drawings are really fun to do. Mixing up stuff together, like mix matching stuff, has a has its own thing to it. It really does. Do I want to leave it at that? Stay on the fence on that. I feel it needs more contrast. More. Let's see if I can do a little bit of a shading pass. Like a light shading pass. I don't like leaving it white because it really isn't. Even though it's kind of rough to get the contrast right. Because of what I was saying about the green being really close to each other. Like, how can I? What I'm talking about is this. Like, if you see, for example, this area right here, that blue, if you squint, is slightly lighter than the green. Uh, you have some details, but you could do it, but it just takes a lot of time and uh, yeah. Again, a sketch. I have to remind myself this is a sketch. This is not an illustration. You're doing it on a sketchbook. It's supposed to be a sketch. So chill. Freaking chill. Um, yeah. I messed that up. That, if you cannot tell, that's a mistake. That's a mistake in the design. Also, these last few months, I've been definitely learning a lot about myself, which is something that I wasn't expecting, but I definitely have been learning a lot about myself, about pacing, about how to cope with certain things, um, which is something that I believe everybody should do to their own level, like at their own level, rather, like wherever spot you're at at that at the moment you decide to do that, you should do it for your own good. Like, definitely go for it. Remember, this is a sketch. This is first a sketch. Then whatever else you make it into. First a sketch. Bum, 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 bum. Also mention a lot that if you have something so detail dense, you don't need to do every detail. You can just kind of suggest what is going on. And I'm not doing the best job at it right now. Hi, how's it going? How are you? Let's see, there you go. Can feel the need to add more contrast here. So cool. This creature is amazing. Bum ba bum 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 ba ba bum bum ba bum bum bum. Down 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 down. Down bam 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 bam. Oh, I just saw where it needs more contrasts. Do I want to leave it at that? Do I want to add more contrast? Yeah, more contrast. Also, there are ways of making something like this look a little bit better than if you just randomly start throwing lines. If you follow one direction, which I already made the mistake of not doing exactly that, you can try to follow one direction and just do that one direction, or you can follow kind of the three-dimensional shape that you're trying to turn into the drawing, rather. I have to follow my own advice, really. I'm trying to add also details to the skin, so those things, I guess, can collide with each other. is looking better. To me at least. Another detail that I feel I messed up, but yeah, just keep going, my friend. Overall, it's looking good. That's also important to always keep in mind. So is the detail really important, or is it just something that you're gonna notice, but a lot of people might not even pay attention to? So you have to account for that too. Bum, 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 bum. Uh, and if I want to add more contrast, do I? I'm kind of tired too, you guys. So I call it. Yeah, I'm going to switch gears here. Uh, Alright, so just turn this off. And I'm going to do the really fun part. Pow, pow, pow. Doom. See, that's what I mean. You see that that's not no bueno, no bueno. Even though what I see here for real it's different to what you can see. I guess I can play around with this. Let's just change the gamma. Wah, bow, bow, bow. That's more like it, is it? They want more contrast, less contrast. That's similar to what I actually see. I guess saturation. Eh, okay. Hopefully you can see it there. Um, let's go with this. Oh, blinding light. Sorry, did I mess it up? Probably. I just gotta film this quickly. Cool, cool, cool. Alright. I like it. I like it. This area. I like this. I like it. Right. Right. Hooray. And just gonna sign this guy, right? I'm more inclined to do it here. That sounds better to sign. Who knew? Who knew? Maybe it's better also for like this sort of. Yeah, this is way better for this areas. I thought I would mix them together, get to a point that I would have an actual preference for a specific mark pen for a specific thing. Really didn't expect that, but it's definitely the case. Some are better for some things than others. Depends on the situation. Uh, I should change the lighting setting to this sort of thing because it's easy to mess up, which I probably already did, but anyway. Anyhow, hopefully you enjoyed the stream and the drawing. I might play around with the contrast a little bit more. I'm not sure yet, but this was today's drawing. It was more rendering than drawing, but hopefully you enjoy it or you got something from it. Sorry, I got something, probably my hair from my dog or something. Anyway, give me a second. Thank you all for being here. I appreciate you. Thank you for watching. Consider subscribing. It helps me a bunch. It's completely free for you, as I mentioned a few times. And you can check out my website if you're interested in looking at my work and what I've done and what I do. I have my illustrated deck of cards, Cartas a Venezuela, on my website. And it was produced by USPCC, made in the US, manufactured in the US, but illustrated by me. And you can get that on my website and get it sent to your home. And I also have backgrounds for your phone if you're interested in that, and a Redbubble shop. I have a Discord that you can check out, and I usually go by the same name on social media, Segrons. Um, Segrons artist. You can find me, um, or Ronald Segovia artist. You can also find me. Anyhow, if you enjoyed the stream, uh, again, consider subscribing. I'll be ending the stream soon. Thank you all for watching. Hope to see you next time. Bye.